Mastering sleep will change your health. And in this YouTube video, I will be going over exactly how I mastered my sleep and changed my health. So I will be going over step by step what I personally did and focused on in this YouTube video. And if you follow these steps, I will guarantee you that you will at least see an improvement in your sleep. And I've been struggling with my sleep for my entire life. I've been a gamer my entire life. So that means I've been up late, playing video games, playing Fortnite, playing a bunch of games with my friends. And that means I've been staying up all night as well, just being in front of artificial blue light, spiking my cortisol with a bunch of EMF around me, falling asleep late in the wrong state, not being, aligned with nature or our biology at all, unfortunately. But that's also why I took this so seriously now that I've gotten older and I've gotten to realize that my health is the number one thing that I should prioritize and that dictates my life. So yesterday I fell asleep at like 11 and I woke up at 8. That's 9 hours of sleep. Not the most perfect sleep, but it's a huge improvement of where I was 2 years ago when I fell asleep at 3 a.m. and I woke up at 8 a.m. to go to my job, stressing. And most people today are, trying to flex that they didn't sleep a lot. They're coming to work and they're like, hey, I just slept 3 hours. Let me grab an energy drink. And it's nothing that should be like a flex. It's actually just destroying their health, and it's nothing beneficial for them. And when I had my worst sleep period, I also had acne. I also had dark eye circles. I do sometimes have eye circles here and there. Like right now, for example, it's pretty late. It's 9 p.m. But I wanted to film this or record this video in a relaxed state. So that's why I chose to record it now, even though I'm super tired and it can be shown under my eyes. I had eye circles. I had very poor health overall, bloated, acne, didn't feel secure at all in myself, and I had a very poor nervous system, so I was anxious a lot out in public. And in combination with fixing my sleep and prioritizing my sleep, I also fixed these health issues one by one. And of course I also fixed my diet and other parts of my health, but I think sleep is one of the most important things that people can do for their health. So if you're someone that struggles with your health or you don't have an ideal or optimal sleep right now, then this YouTube video will definitely help you. I cannot guarantee you to get the perfect sleep, but if you follow this, I can assure you that you will at least see an improvement in your sleep. Ideally, if you follow this step by step, you will have perfect sleep, but that's up to you. First of all, in the morning, what I did personally was, instead of scrolling on my phone, instead of waking up and looking at my phone, I dropped the phone. I didn't even look at the phone, and I went outside the first thing in the morning, going for a walk. Okay, super simple. Doesn't matter if you're going to work. Do this before you go to work. Wake up 5 to 10 minutes earlier to go for a walk. Get natural light in your eyes. Get movement. This is something that spikes cortisol and releases serotonin in the body, so that later, 12 or 16 hours later, this will lead to you actually producing melatonin, which is the sleeping hormone. So you can actually fall asleep at the same time and wake up at the same time. So sunlight exposure or daylight exposure in the morning, and then movement. This is the first 2 steps in the morning that you should actually follow. And this is something very important. If these are 2 things that you don't follow, you shouldn't even follow the other steps that I tell you about, because this is where everything starts. Okay. The next thing, in the middle of the day, let's say you have work. Most people have work. Make sure to get as much sunlight as possible. Okay. And I'm gonna repeat this throughout the whole video, since it's the most important aspect, is the light environment. Get natural light. And most people here think that, oh, okay, I just get light through the windows, but you don't actually get the beneficial light that tells your brain that it's daytime. And the beneficial part is the red light and the infrared light in combination with blue light and the other spectrums of the light. But if you don't get the red light, the infrared light, then you're not gonna actually benefit from getting any light at all. So you should ideally, or focus on getting as much sunlight and daylight as much as possible. It doesn't matter what excuse you have, get outside. If you have a 15-minute break at work, get outside, eat your lunch outside. It will help you with digestion, it would help you with your hormones and everything. So as much sunlight and daylight as possible during the day is super important. And another thing here is getting as much movement in as possible as well. You should actually get rid of the energy that you have in your body. So for me, something that I focus on right now is walking and doing movements that I actually enjoy. So playing football barefoot, or playing paddle, going for long walks. And as long as I'm outside, just like getting movements and being outside is the two most important combos for your sleep, especially during the day. When it comes to the light environment, if you look at some homeless people, for example, even though they might not have the best diet, even though they might not have, they might take drugs or alcohol, they're actually very aligned with our circadian rhythm, which is our internal clock, which tells us which time to fall asleep and which time to wake up. Many homeless people that I see look actually like pretty healthy, pretty vital. A lot of hair, long hair, vital eyes. And this is certainly because they live accordingly to nature. They have an ideal circadian rhythm. So ideally you want to wake up with the sun and you want to fall asleep with the sun. Then you have the most perfect circadian rhythm. And that's why I believe a lot of homeless people look so good. And I can argue for that sleep is even more important than our diet and other habits as well. So if your sleep is off, then your whole biology and your whole health will be off. You will definitely have some health issues, even though you might not recognize them. It could come as hair shedding, it could come as digestion issues, but the more you're aligned with sunrise and sunset, the more health benefits that you will get. When sun sets in the evening, ideally you want to see the sunset, since it tells your brain, okay, now it's time to produce melatonin, now it's time to relax, I will soon fall asleep. It lowers your cortisol levels, since cortisol should stay low in the evening to produce the right hormones like melatonin, so that you can actually fall asleep and have deep sleep right after the sunset. Most people actually they F up here. They look at their phones, they're inside, they're looking at TVs, they're arguing, most people are actually starting to live when the sun sets, which is completely off our biology. And what I did wrong here was just being on my phone playing games. I'm pretty hardwired to that lifestyle of playing video games in the evening, so this was a pretty hard challenge for me personally, but something that I'm pretty good at right now. Just fixing my light environment and actually following these steps helps me a lot. And ideally after sunset you shouldn't be getting any artificial light at all, and that means the light that comes from electrical devices. It can even be, from your fridge, from your AC. Ideally, it shouldn't be anything, because artificial light tells your brain that it's daytime. It spikes your cortisol. You don't want to have high cortisol when you're supposed to sleep. This is super bad for you. So what I did, I put on the red light filter on my phone. So it's red. It's blocking out most of the blue light from my phone. Not everything though. So that's why I have these blue light blocking glasses that blocks out 100% of blue light and green light. And I wear these as soon as the sun sets. And right now I only have natural light around me, so that's why I don't wear them and I'm filming this video and I want you guys to see my face and my eyes. But ideally, this was a big needle mover when it comes to my sleep. I feel a lot sleepier and I can sense how much these blue light blocking glasses helps me. So this is something that I recommend you guys to invest in. The second thing to make sure that you only get natural light in the evening is to light up candles like this. This is beeswax candles, so they don't contain any chemicals at all. It's all natural. You can also buy red light bulbs or red light lamps that tells your brain that it's sunset, or it's a very calm light that doesn't spike your cortisol. So it's super optimal for sleep and ideal for the evening. This is something that you should invest in as well. I have this back home where I live. I have 2 red light bulbs that I put on in the evening, that I have my glasses, and then I fall asleep in a couple of hours. For those that are sensitive to light and sound, I recommend you guys to buy earplugs as well, so that you can sleep throughout the whole night. And then buy a silk. I have personally a silk mask that blocks out all the light. So these are 2 very essential things for your sleep as well. Something I did before was going to the gym in the evening, which isn't a good idea. That's also something that spikes your cortisol. If you think logically, you're doing something physical that might be intense, it starts your body going, and it's not ideal at all. You should be, if you're exercising, you should do it when your hormones peak, which is like in between 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this is where you should use most of your energy. If you're doing it after that, it's gonna have a negative effect on your sleep. When it comes to caffeine, you shouldn't be drinking any caffeine at all. If you do drink caffeine, this should be in the morning. It shouldn't be after 12 p.m. During the day. If you actually do drink after this, it's gonna affect your sleep negatively. Overall, if you drink caffeine, it's gonna affect your sleep negatively, since it's spiking your cortisol and it's a toxin that your body has to detox. Even though you think it's safe, it's not safe, and it shouldn't be drinking at all. So what should you be doing in the evening? Something that I personally focused on is just like pretty boring and just calm activities. The first thing I do is that's pretty chill is just go for pretty chill, like long walks in the evening with my red light glasses on. Ideally no phone, maybe listen to a podcast. That's something that's very useful for me. It helps me a lot. It calms my body down. It calms my mind down. It prepares me for a good night of sleep. And also at the same time I'm getting my steps in. But I'm getting into this relaxed state, and something that you can do is like play card with your family, with your friends. You can, watch a YouTube video that's not as stimulating. You can watch a movie that's not as stimulating, as long as you actually put on red light filters on every single device and you wear your blue light blockers. And when it comes to blue light as well, ideally you want to block out your skin as well. You want to protect your skin from blue light outside, since your skin is still receptors for light, so it tells your brain that it's daytime and it rises cortisol. So when I'm outside and I know that there's blue light outside in the evening, I wear a hoodie on, I wear some long pants on, and I have my blue light blockers on. Ideally you want to have blue light blockers that blocks out every single angle of the eyes. I don't have those, so I need to invest in a new pair of blue light blockers, but this is something very important. And when it comes to the environment that you're sleeping in, you want to make sure that you actually enjoy spending time in that environment. You actually find it like cozy and like nice to be in that environment and in your bed. So like make sure to clean up your environment, make sure that you have it nice, and with your bed you want to only have natural fabrics such as linen, cotton, wool, whatever. You don't want to have any polyester or natural fabrics like plastic, polyester, nylon. Those are things that's going to wreck up your hormones and you're going to sleep worse just because you have that unnatural material all over your skin. You're sweating in it. So something that is very important as well. Me myself, I use linen, which is super nice, and it's a natural fabric that doesn't leach into my skin, making my hormones worse. As well as having a cold temperature in your room. This is a huge one. If you're laying there, tossing and turning because it's hot, you're not gonna fall asleep. It's gonna be very hard for you to sleep. You're not gonna fall into a parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically the rest and digest mode of your body, where you can fall asleep and you can heal and you can detox. So it's very important to actually get the temperature lower to maybe 18, 19 degrees in your room. Ideally, you're gonna fall asleep a lot faster and you're gonna sleep for longer. You will realize this as well. This is a huge needle mover, and I personally know that this is something that affects my sleep a lot. If I don't get the temperature down, then I will be laying in my room, in my bed, like trying to fall asleep for 1 hour, and it just sucks. So open your window and make sure that you get that temperature down. And with diet, of course, you want to have a natural diet, an animal-based diet. Me personally, I eat a raw animal-based diet with a lot of raw eggs, raw beef, raw milk, raw cheese, raw honey, raw milk, yogurt, stuff like that. And I don't consume anything heavy after dinner. And dinner I usually have at like 6 p.m. And after that, I only consume dairy and eggs that are easy to digest. And if I do consume anything heavier than that, then I will have digestion issues when I sleep, and when my body is trying to digest stuff in the sleep, I will have lighter quality of sleep, and it will affect my health worse overall. I will wake up with eye bags. I will wake up not feeling relaxed at all, just because I didn't really rest. I didn't heal during sleep. My body just put energy towards trying to digest the food. And especially when you're laying down, gravity doesn't, work with you. It's working against you since you're laying down, and the food will be harder to digest. So this is something pretty important. Only digest animal foods that are easy to digest, basically. So raw milk is very, light on your stomach. Raw eggs is very light. You don't want to consume any fruits. It can ferment in the gut pretty easy, especially when you're laying down. Some raw yogurt, for example, super nice. Just have something light. But ideally, nothing at all, like 2 hours before bed, in my own opinion, in my own experience. When it comes to breathing, how you should breathe, ideally you want to breathe through your nose, since that activates your parasympathetic nervous system once again. That tells your body that you're safe, there's no threat nearby, and you can fall asleep and be relaxed. Meanwhile, if you're breathing through your mouth, you will have a very sharp and dry, breathing that can tell your body that it's a threat around, which means that your body will enter the sympathetic nervous system mode, which isn't good at all. You won't have deep sleep. You will have very, very light sleep, and this isn't ideal. So what I personally did for this is I buy mouth tape, and I basically tape my mouth just straight over my mouth and make sure that I only breathe with my nose. I do this every single night, and it works a lot. I actually noticed a huge difference in the quality of my sleep. I wake up a lot more refreshed overall, and it feels just really good to wake up. And I just rip off the mouth tape knowing that I breathed through my nose during the entire night. Something that might be affecting your sleep as well is like unnecessary stressing over school or jobs or relationships. And this is something that you should realize. I actually talked about the power of being present for your health in my other video. So if you haven't watched that, go check that out. There I speak about how you should only live in the present moment. You shouldn't stress about things in the past. You shouldn't stress about things in the future or be anxious about anything in the future. about school or jobs or whatever. So make sure to watch that video. And over time, the most important thing with sleep is consistency. You should be falling asleep at the same time every single night, and you should be waking up at the same time approximately every single night, every single morning. And this is something that, you need to do to hardwire your circadian rhythm. If you fall asleep at 12 and then you fall asleep at 9 and then you fall asleep at 8, you have a very inconsistent circadian rhythm, which is pretty confusing for your body, and you won't really have good quality sleep. Your body will be pretty off and it won't understand what hormones to produce and stuff like that. So make sure to actually keep it consistently as well. The closer you are to waking up at sunrise and the closer you are to falling asleep at sunset, the better circadian rhythm you will have. Of course, this might not be the case for everyone. Not everyone can do this, so just make sure to fall asleep as early as possible and wake up as early as possible. Ideally you want to see the sunset and see the sunrise as well, but me personally, I'm not at that level yet, but I'm working towards it. So what are some good signs of good sleep, respectively bad sleep? So first of all, when you wake up early at sunrise, you see the sunrise, and then throughout the day you have good energy levels, you're thriving, you don't look like a zombie, and then in the evening you fall asleep right after the sunset, and you can fall asleep in 10 minutes when you lay down, and you don't lay in bed stressing, or you lay there tossing and turning for an hour. That's bad sleep. If you feel like you're stressed during the day, that's also a sign of very bad sleep. If you look like a zombie, that's a sign of bad sleep. If you're balding, that's a sign of bad sleep. So I'd say the biggest sign for good sleep is that you feel healthy, you feel good, you look good, and most importantly, you feel calm and well relaxed. That's a very good sign that you have good sleep. So these are some things that I did to fix my sleep, and it doesn't take one night to fix these things. You actually want to make sure that you've put in the work, put in some focus to actually fix these things. And when you optimize all these different things and you live aligned with nature and your circadian rhythm, you get as much natural light as possible. With the candles, you invest in a pair of blue light blockers, and you drink raw milk in the evening instead of eating a bunch of bullshit, then I can assure you that you will fix your sleep pretty fast. It takes a couple of nights and then you're there. You've set your new circadian rhythm. And yeah, I just wanted to give you guys this value in this video, speak about how I actually fix my health. And if there's one thing that you take away from this video, it is that be outside as much as possible and don't spend as much time on your phone. I think that's the most important key factor from this video. If you guys think that I missed something, or there's some crucial part about sleep that you think I missed, then comment that as well. I offer coaching as well, health coaching. So if you're someone that needs someone else to actually keep them accountable and give you all the knowledge and resources that I have, then just shoot me a DM on Instagram. It will be linked down below. And yeah, peace out.